Why did you specifically reach out to me?
There's no kind of bullshit or fluff with you. It's just like this is what we do. Is getting to the point about what you do. You're not trying to be a flashy info seller. Like this is actual tangible stuff that works.
What did your sales process look like?
There's no pre-calls, no pre-sales.
Talk to me about the actual tangible results that you achieved when we started working together.
January 25, we did 36K in the month. February, we did 82, or March, we did 110.
Can you introduce yourself and who you are?
Yeah, I am Joe Boyle. I'm the founder of Lead Prediction, a lead generation agency that primarily works with home service companies and contractors, helping them with cold outbound systems and solutions. 22 years of age. I am from Ireland, the west of Ireland. Known Sen probably for 18 months now. We started working together about a year ago, I'd say. Actually, exactly a year ago, come January of 25. So yeah, known Sen for quite a while. When he was kind of in his closing stage and getting into management. And yeah, I'm sure we'll get into the details of that, but that's a bit about me.
Yeah, awesome. And talk to me, what did your sales process look like before working with myself?
What sales process? There was none. There was none. It was we were mainly growing through cold outbound, practicing kind of what we preach. And I don't know, look, we'd book a call with the lead, probably send them an email the night before and say, hey, reminder, your meeting's tomorrow. They get the few Calendly notifications,
Yeah.
and that was about it. There was no pre-call, there was no pre-sales, there was no discovery before the call, there was no confirming the call, there was no pre-call sales assets, there was no, and look, show up rates were just in the bin. And I think one thing which we can dive into a bit more, because I've learned a lot about this from working with you on it, is like, it's not just about getting them to show up to the call. It's getting them to show up to the call like fully educated on absolutely everything that you do. It should be like a no-brainer. I know what you do. Just tell me the price. So there's a lot more, and this was the biggest realization for me is like what sales really is, because like sales isn't like a closer getting on a call and like as you see on Instagram, like pitching, like that's like that much of it. Like that's easy. I think people get complicated. They're like, he's such a good closer. This company's so good at closing. It's like, no, they have a good back end sales process, and that's really what comes down to it. If you have a good offer at the end of the day, it makes sense. You have good case studies, you'll sell all day. That's never an issue. It's all the metrics before that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And obviously there's a lot of different, sales coaches and sales managers and closers and all that kind of stuff. Why did you specifically reach out to me?
Yeah, I think it's probably because you're like, how do I say this in the right way? Is like there's no kind of bullshit or fluff with you. It's just like this is what we do, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. Like I go onto Instagram and I turn my phone off because it's another agency bro on his yacht talking about his close rates and open rates, and I haven't seen anything like that with you. And I know we talked about that before in terms of your own brand and everything. Is like just getting to the point about what you do. Like at the end of the day, you're not trying to be a flashy, um, you're not trying to be a flashy info seller. Like this is actual tangible stuff that works. And the sales systems, and I will say systems, like it's not sexy at the end of the day. And it shouldn't be. And anyone who's like making it kind of sexy on that side is probably full of bullshit. So yeah, that was probably one of the main reasons. You seemed confident in what you wanted to do, and we took a shot.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. And you spoke about obviously a lot of the bottlenecks that you previously had before working with me. What kind of prevented you from fixing those issues yourself?
The knowledge as to it, like the know-how. Because like you can't find that stuff. Like, look, I'm a YouTube university. Like I've consumed every YouTube video on this and that, like religiously, but
Yep.
this type of stuff isn't the stuff that they actually share on YouTube because once again, as I said, it's not the sexy stuff. It's not like about closing or like objection handling at all. But this is really the backbone of any good operation online company at the end of the day, whether it's in the info space, whether it's in the B2B agency space, it doesn't matter. But like the actual know-how around it, people don't preach and don't talk about, or if they do, I've came from starting my agency and like consuming like the Charlie Morgan content, the Iman Gadzhi content and everything. And then when I had a show up rate problem, it was like, oh, I wasn't sending Calendly notifications. Make sure I do that. And like that's the extent of what it was because people didn't, they weren't wanting to share the actual system behind it, or the need behind the system associated because it seemed too difficult for people. So that was mainly why.
Yep.
And it was insightful when we got into it then what was actually required to achieve those outcomes.
Yep. For sure. Okay. And with working with me in the service itself, what would you say stood out to you the most?
Great question. I would say just the speed of implementation. I think when we first started working together, we, and I think this was probably like end of Jan, start of Feb, we were having a terrible show up rate issue just across the board. And keep in mind also, so we are working with home service companies who are probably the most difficult to get to show up to calls.
Yep.
I remember having a conversation with you, and you had a vendetta against like, well, not no, vendetta is the wrong word. You had like a driving burn to fix the show up rate. And you're like, I'm gonna fix it, Joey. I'm gonna fix it, Joey. I'm gonna fix it, Joey. And I think 14 days, 21 days later, we were getting like 80% shows in that industry, which is kind of unheard of, if I'm honest with you. So that was probably one of the main things that stood out. Because at the end of the day, like we had a really good offer, really good products, yada yada yada.
Yep.
We just needed people to show up on calls. Simple as and be sold and pre-sold.
Yep. For sure. Okay. So talk to me then, how much time and stress would you say this has saved you?
Uh, Time, stress, and money as well. Keep that in mind. So like time, there's not really like a timing element to it because I wouldn't have figured it out, to be honest. So that's what I will say. And in terms of time, wasting time getting on a Google Meet and no one shows up, like you can count that as a lot of hours. Stress, unlimited potential stress because like your business isn't growing if people aren't getting on calls. And then money, like a lot, because like we spent on ads to grow. So I could have just been burning cash and no one showing up. So money, thousands and thousands of dollars over the period of time.
Yep. For sure. Okay. And talk to me about the actual tangible results that you achieved when we started working together.
Yeah, so I think January 25, we did 36K in the month. And I think you only kind of came on towards the end of Jan, really. It was just kind of like tester feeler in the beginning.
Hmm.
February, we did 80, I think 82 or something like that. And then March, we did 110.
Yep.
Um, and that was a combination of sales and marketing aspects to it. But once again, like the marketing has to back up the sales, and people don't realize how intertwined the two of those are. I didn't, by the way, and like this is like it was nearly like me paying someone for a course because I got to actually see how the operations of all this works, like live in person, like actually inside my business,
Hmm.
and just actually understanding like this is all just system. It's all just like the intertwine of it all is what people don't realize. And I think you can't understand that until you actually do it in your own business and like see what comes from it. Like a YouTube video or like a course or someone telling you it won't make sense until it's actually done.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. And throughout the duration of us working together, did anything unexpected happen, like new opportunities, partnerships, referrals, anything like that that you were like, okay, wow, I wasn't expecting that at all?
When you mean new opportunities, partnerships, what are you referring to? Just
Just anything unexpected that you thought was like over delivering in that sense.
okay, sorry. Um, yeah, well, like at that time, we obviously had our closer, and you were kind of going above and beyond, even jumping on calls with him, to assist him in getting deals over the line on that side, and note like not taking anything extra for doing that, which was very important on that side. So it was just kind of that constant effort across the board, ensuring that at the end of the day you weren't just coming in and like inserting a system, like you were making sure it was actually run correctly from A to Z. So like that's where the over delivering came in on that side and allowed me to then focus on the marketing and the growth and managing the team and building the fulfillment side. And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Um, and who would you recommend this service to?
I am a B2B agency owner, so I'd recommend it to any agency owner overall, no matter what system and process they're going through. I would say if you're in that sweet spot of like that 10 to 30, it's going to be huge for you because at that stage, whether you've been doing that for a period of time or how long you've been doing that, um, you don't know what you don't know. So I would say any B2B agency owner in that like 10 to 30K range, 100%. And you can probably, and we've talked about some of the other guys you've worked with, and it's kind of funny though because like I kind of questioned this to you like before, because obviously we were running heavy on ads. So like that's we're getting a lot of traffic in and we're dealing with that traffic as needed. But a lot of the guys you've been working with so far, they haven't been running ads. They've just been taking their exactly what they've been doing for the last 3 months and just
Mhm.
putting a better sales system in, like no new marketing, which blew my mind. So you don't need to be spending. 5, 10K a month on ads. Like if you're running cold email, if you're running cold DMs, whatever it is specifically, even if it's all just a referral system or from content or something like that, whatever it is, like you really probably don't know what you can unlock. And probably the other thing as well is, and you can attest to this, is like, cool, they get to show up and yada, yada, yada. They're pre-sold, everything. Like obviously you're going to collect more cash on that side, but then also charging more and being able to charge more is probably going to be huge as well. And positioning your offer in the right way that you don't always just need to sell what you've been selling. So there's so many different aspects that can help a business owner in that range without having to actually change their marketing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. What would you say to someone on the fence of working with myself?
Just jump in a call and kind of realize like it's no bullshit. Like there's going to be no like I can't imagine you being like some hard selling. You're just going to tell them what it is and this is what it is and get it done. As I said, that's kind of why I picked you in the first place because there was nothing flashy to it. It was this is what it is, this is what it works, this is what it costs. Are we working together or not? And so yeah, there's nothing stopping you booking a call, but also as well book a call just to realize how much you don't know about like sales systems, sales process, and that'll open your mind in itself. So yeah, that'll be my recommendation.
Would you work with myself and the team again, like long term, and if so, why?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like we're rebuilding a lot of what we did in the last, we've been rebuilding in the last 3 months, a lot of different processes in the company. And the only reason I've been able to specifically do that is because I've seen it being done in our business currently. But that said, we are still going to run into problems where we're dealing with the same issues, dealing with the same problems again. And we need a revamp, need a refresh, need more fuel put to the fire, tighten up some systems. So 100%. I'm in this online world for the foreseeable. So sales is always going to be an aspect to it. I always foresee running ads and running outbound and everything. So yeah, nothing's going to change there.
Perfect. Okay. And last question for yourself. Um, okay. If you had never worked with me, where do you think you'd be now?
Probably that depressed agency owner that's doing 20 to 30K a month with no closers, no sales team, and has a dribble drabble of calls coming in that aren't showing up. And
Mhm.
it's the weekend and wants to drink his pain away. We all know those. So yeah, that's probably
Yep.
where I'd be. Yeah,
Okay. Amazing. Thank you very much for your time, Joe. And yeah, I'll speak to you very, very soon.
not a problem, sir.